RFD TV presents Gentle Giant with Pam Minnick and Katie Kaufman.
Early spring and sometimes late winter means foaling season. One of the wonders of the world is witnessing the great joy of young colts and fillies enter this world and their amazing heart and determination. They're often up and walking and then nursing in mere minutes.
That's right, Pam. Gentle Giants reached out to our viewers and asked them to send photos and even some amateur video of their newborns and share the progress as these colts and fillies bonded with their mothers, other foals, and developed into weanlings, yearlings, and then got on with their lives.
Stay tuned. Foal Files on Gentle Giants is coming up next. Welcome back. We'll begin our look at Gentle Giants Foal Files with Brian and Stacy Lynch in Goshen, Connecticut. Brian is a well-respected teamster who's been showing most of his life. Stacy also comes from a horse-crazy family, and she's very involved with every aspect of their horse operation. Their passion is raising babies that will someday take blue ribbons in the show ring.
We had a filly in the futurity yesterday. Sired by a horse we previously owned. We co-owned her with a friend, and she ended up first out of 20-something entries. And also a home-raised colt sired by our stallion was third out of something teen entries in his class. So that was very exhilarating, and we were tickled pink to say the least.
Utopia Ice's Encore, better known as Corey, is the second generation to be raised at Utopia Percherons. Corey was the first or maiden foal out of Utopia's Cracker Jack surprise they call April. April was born in 2008, and here she is with her mother, Petal's Surprise. Corey is also by FP Ice Pick. The Lynches hope to keep Corey as a potential hitch horse. Because he's been shown and handled a lot as a foal, he'll likely be much easier to train when the time comes. They'll begin to do a lot of ground driving in the bitting rig and then hook him a few times as a 2-year-old. Then they'll leave him alone till he's about 3 to start really training him to harness, usually single first and then double. Last year, the day that Brian and Stacy arrived home from the Gentle Giants $100,000 Invitational in Mesquite, Texas, Utopia's Ice's Kryptonite was born. This beautiful colt they call Knight is by FP Ice Pick. As he grew, he became very precocious. Here he is playing with the Lynch's daughter, Kaylee. The Lynches say that potential hitch horses or working horses are usually given short names as their barn names for ease in giving commands when driving. Hence the names Knight and Corey. Knight competed at the World Percheron Congress last fall and finished an impressive 3rd out of 15 in the Futurity Stallion Foal class and 4th in the Senior Stallion Foal class. He was sold to Alex Beacon in Hampton, Ontario, Canada in October, and he'll likely be a stallion prospect. Along with the great joys of raising foals can be great sorrow. This year, the Lynches lost their good gray Percheron mare, Vintage Kong's Elena, who died giving birth to this beautiful filly. The Lynches endured frosty mornings and cold nights, bottle feeding the new baby at regular intervals. Their children Kaylee and Caden have already formed a bond and spoiled her rotten. Gentle Giants had a Facebook contest to name this filly. After reviewing more than 350 entries and a spirited family debate, the Lynches selected the name Utopia's Elena's Elegance, submitted by Tom Cannon of Friendship, New York. She will be called Ella for short, which reflects Kaylee's favorite, Cinderella. Here's some tips we've been given by draft horse breeders. Every breeder has their certain things that they do when a foal arrives. Usually they include towel dry the foals, dip the foal's navel with the solution like iodine. Continue to do this 3 times a day for a few days until the navel dries up. Give them an enema to make sure they pass the meconium. Milk the mare using a 60 cc dose syringe to make sure you get some of the colostrum into the foal. Bigger foals are slower to get up and nurse, so you have to give them a little more time before they get up. Hence the reason they are given colostrum while they're still down. This gives them a sugar boost. Then you tickle them on the withers and they'll try to get up quicker and easier. Make sure the colt nurses. Make sure the mare passes her placenta and check to make sure it's all there. Sometimes the mare will get an anti-inflammatory like Banamine, depending on how tough of a birth they've had and the age of the mare. Give the mare and the foal an oral probiotic. Then watch the mare and foal closely for the next few days. Gentle Giants viewer Beth Ramsey says, meet Riley, our precocious gypsy vanner of Gypsy Gem Farm, who had a tough start in life, almost dying on day 4. Riley had surgery on his intestines, and when that cleared up, it looked like he was going to be able to come home. Then he started to limp, and x-rays showed a hairline fracture on his cannon bone. He is now 4 years old, confident, playful, and oh so handsome. This is Riley today. Jennifer and Tom Luttrell own Fairview Acres Farm near Lake Michigan. They sent us this photo of their little Clydesdale filly, Eden, who was born on February 2nd. She's by Mistyland Jinx and out of Northridge Lady Lexus. After 8 foals and 6 of them being colts, she's only the 2nd filly they've had. Eden's dam was bred on Valentine's Day last year, so they knew they'd have a love bug on their hands. Eden loves to discover the snow. On the day she was born, it was -8 degrees in Michigan, so she's often seen sporting a chic foal blanket. Last year, Jennifer had a near-fatal riding accident, which has led them to conduct equine safety seminars with the Norton Shores Fire Department.
When Gentle Giants returns, we'll show you the offspring of a great Blue Ribbon Days hitch mare that Pam and I got to drive. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Last year's champion North American 6-horse hitch Blue Ribbon Days is a partnership between Albert and Karen Clevey and Jim and Peggy Day. While Albert and Karen love being on the road and at the shows, Peggy Day loves breeding and raising the next generation of beautiful Percheron hitch horses.
We actually just weaned the fillies, and they were a little bit, of course, always a little bit sad to be taken from their moms, but they fit right in, and they come into their tie stalls, we tie them up, and they get their grain twice a day, and I can't wait to work with them. I'll go ahead and start halter breaking them here pretty soon, and really looking forward to see what characteristics they're going to have, to see whether they're going to be able to be a hitch mare or a brood mare, or where we're going to place them in our breeding program.
60 Percherons at our house, 25 brood mares, have between 20 and 25 colts a year. It takes quite a special horse to get to this level to compete in this arena, and it's really proud to take one in and do well, and that's our pride. Those babies are growing. My wife Peg does a lot of the work at home. That's what she does for a living. When you take a colt and start it when it's a few days old and think there's some possibilities, and then to watch it 2 and 3 years later get to this level, you know, when Dean and Kelly can take one of our halter horses and in 6 months make them pretty special, it's quite an honor.
Blue Ribbon Days purchased Sarah at the Mid-American Draft Horse Sale as a 3-year-old for $18,000. Since then, Sarah has been a cornerstone of the Blue Ribbon Days showing and breeding program. She has been an outstanding, dependable, and animated hitch horse, a mainstay in the lead of the 6, team, 4-horse hitch, and unicorn, as well as winning numerous cart classes. Sarah and Tabby were used in junior draft horse classes by Allie and Cody Woodbury, whose dad Dean manages and drives the Blue Ribbon Days hitch. Sarah was retired to pasture life at age 13 and has passed on her traits to daughters and granddaughters. But then, Sarah was brought out of retirement for the 2014 show season and was one of the beautiful black Percheron mares that anchored Blue Ribbon Days champion 8-horse hitch at the World Percheron Congress with Cody Woodbury at the lines. Katie and I were thrilled to drive Sarah and her granddaughter Etta in the Celebrity Obstacle course in Massachusetts. And we learned just how well broke she is. Last year's North American 6-horse hitch reserve champions are the beautiful Belgian mares of Dr. Michael Stone and his Oak Haven Belgians. Rose and Mickey are 2 of their undefeated Belgian hitch mares. Even with carrying foals, these mares gave it their all at the 6-horse hitch finals and continued to produce quality foals. Rose, whose registered name is Clay Ridge Rose, foaled on January 19th. Her foal is Oak Haven's Roxanne, and her sire is Oak Haven's Jet Express. Rose has been in the hitch since she was 3 and will now be going into her 5th season. She anchors the right wheel position and always gives 100%. Roxanne will hopefully grow up to be as powerful and dependable as Rose. Mickey, or Gold Creek Mickey, foaled on February 12th. Her foal is Oak Haven's Magic Mike. Mickey has been a great swing horse in the hitch since 2010. Both foals are sired by Oak Haven's Jet Express, who was bred and born at Oak Haven Belgians. Lone Star's Felicity Flip foaled on February 13th, and her filly's name is Fiona. Fiona's sire is Orndorff's UC Commander. Flip is a 5-year-old mare and has been with the Oak Haven hitch for 2 years. Dwayne Jagger had no idea that when he bought some Percheron foals at Waverly, Iowa, nearly 30 years ago, that it would be the launch of a full-scale breeding program at Jagger Percherons. They are standing First Start Acres design. Their first foal this year was a stunning black colt with a beautiful star and tiny snip out of a maiden mare, Jay-Z She's a Natural. They call the foal Tough because he had a rough start. His legs were so long that he needed help to get up and nurse the first few days. He's fine now, and he's quite the looker. Their first filly this year is Tori, out of Yoder Farms Dana, and also sired by Design. She shows her personality by sticking out her tongue. Jagger Percherons is in Charles City, Iowa, and you can find more great photos on their Facebook. Heidi Johnson, a Percheron lover, sent this picture of Nathan and his tiny foal, Dodge.
We hope you're having fun watching these draft horse foals. When we return, we'll follow the story of a draft mule colt. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Gentle Giants. What happens when a Percheron mare falls in love with her pasture mate and that mate happens to be a Mammoth Jack? Well, Texas Draft Horse and Mule Secretary Debbie Halford knows, and she quickly fell in love with that baby with big ears.
Gus, or otherwise known as Augustus, is our little Percheron draft mule. A friend of ours had a Percheron, a grade Percheron mare, and a Mammoth Jack donkey that she had had together for 3 years and never even thought that they might possibly breed. She was a retired carriage horse and just living out her life with the donkey. And one Thursday morning she woke up to go to work and there was little Gus. So of course she posted on Facebook and we commented, and she's a good friend of ours, so she had known that Doug and I had found out right before that Chase, one of our Percherons, had been diagnosed with cancer a couple weeks before. So we were oohing and ahhing over Gus and how cute he was, the little black baby with the big ears, and she asked if we would like to have him. So Doug was thrilled. It took his mind off of Chase. We brought Gus and his mom Blair home with us, and we brought him home at 3 days, and we started handling him immediately. We've got 5 other Percherons, and so we had never had a mule before and had heard all sorts of stories. So we wanted him home so we could handle him and do all kinds of things with him. We mixed him in with the herd. My Percheron gelding Samson is Uncle Sammy. So he plays with Gus, he bites him and picks on him and keeps him in line. He has had collars put on him, he's walked over tarps. About 5 months old, he went to Mule Days and he was the star of the show there. He has also been to the vet to be gelded. We knew that mules are sterile since they're a hybrid, but they do have to be gelded like horses, so we've taken care of that. He loves to go, so when you put the ramp down on the trailer, he just trots right in. But I was kind of feeling bad for him, and he was peering out of the trailer. Poor little Gus was kind of sad when he got back in the trailer.
Express Clydesdales added one more rare black Clyde to their barn when Shady Maple's Peggy Ann gave birth to this colt on March 7th. Owned by Bob Funk and his Express Employment Professionals, one of the top staffing companies in the U.S., Express Clydesdales is not only a competitive hitch, they also represent the company at parades and promotional events. There are more than 700 franchisees worldwide who got to vote on the name for this colt. The sire is Somewhere Docks Black & Decker, owned by Scott and Janet Schwindeman. According to Express Clydesdales manager Josh Minchell, the colt is EX Decker's prize. And he sure looks like a prize. The Express Clydesdale barn is in Yukon, Oklahoma, and it's open to the public. You can be sure this little guy will be getting a lot of attention as he grows up to hopefully find his spot on the hitch in a few years. We got a chance to meet Windermere's North American Maid, also known as Moose. He was the Supreme World Champion stallion that continues to have an impact on the breeding program at Windermere Farms in Pennsylvania for the Allebach family. Gerald and Melissa Allebach are the second generation to raise Percherons on this farm. And although Moose passed away this past year, his traits will continue through his foals. Meet Windermere's Black Moon, who at just 5 days old has rule number 1 of Windermere Farms mastered: have fun. Moon is out of Windermere's Charisma, a Windermere's Just Incredible daughter, and she's sired by Moose.
want to thank all of you for watching Gentle Giants this week. I know Pam and I had so much fun looking at all these newborns, considering a little while ago we were just quarter horse girls.
That's right. Thank you all for sending us your photos and your videos, and we can't wait to see what these colts and fillies become as they grow up, and maybe even in a hitch. Maybe we'll even get to drive one someday.
So.
Join us next week right here on Gentle Giants.
And in the meantime, you can always check us out on Facebook.
Bye now.